it's time for me to give you my predictions for UFC 316 on Mally versus Merab. And yeah, I'm usually on the UFC website, but I'm on Tapology today because the UFC website hasn't updated all the new matchups. So, yeah, I'm going to briefly go through every single fight on this card. Maybe get more in depth as we get later into the card. Give you my full picks and predictions, maybe a few betting ideas. Starting off, let's go Chaos Williams versus Andreas Gustafsson. I'm going to pick Andreas Gustafsson here. First off, I would like to say Andreas Gustafsson, I might be saying that wrong, but fuck it. Who gives a fuck? Gustafsson, he didn't go through a full weight cut, actually. His latest opponent was Trevin Giles last week, I guess yesterday on the day of this recording. And basically, it was set at 180 pounds. So he never really even got down to 170. So I don't think his body's been through too much. And I think this is a tough stylistic matchup for Chaos Williams because Chaos Williams likes to plant and go, and against guys who get in his grill or against guys who move a lot, like Gabriel Bonfim, it was hard for him to plant because whenever he would finally plant and throw, his opponent would never be there. I think Andreas Gustafsson is going to get in Chaos Williams' face. Chaos Williams does have big power, so does Gustafsson in his own right. But I think for Chaos Williams to be successful, he has to be able to plant, and his opponent has to be relatively stationary. Andreas Gustafsson is going to close that distance and get in his face a lot, and he has really good wrestling. I think he's going to beat Chaos Williams on the scorecards, 29-28. Now we got Mederos versus Mark Choinski. I don't know. I know this guy's a pretty good wrestler. And that's about it. He could be pressured. His striking isn't the greatest. I didn't know Tapology did this. I'm going to be picking Markel Mederos. I'm not a big fan of Markel Mederos. I was actually picking Balaji Oki against him. I think Markel Mederos is a guy who, he's pretty technical. He's somewhat fast. He's pretty fast. He uses leg kicks well. That's his game plan. He uses a lot of leg kicks. He has good takedown defense. Can wrestle a bit in his own right, but his boxing is where he strives. And I think he's just going to outbox Mark and defend the takedowns that come his way. So I'm going to be picking Markel Mederos, medium confidence, maybe 29-28. Now we got Quinton Salkild versus Yanel Askmouz. I'm going to pick Quinton Salkild here. Pretty impressive with his striking. Pretty impressive with his grappling. I think he's the better striker in this matchup. The odds are completely too wide, but I think he's the better striker in this matchup, and I think for Yanel to have success, he's going to have to grapple. And Quinton Salkild has showed that he has pretty good takedown defense, and he can hold his own there. He can threaten submissions, threaten neck attacks, and on the feet, I think he's the better striker. I don't think he's a minus 500. I don't think it's a blowout, but I think he is the better striker, so I am going to be picking him to beat Yanel. Moving on, Askmouz Murzakanov, Brenton Ribeiro. I'm picking Askmouz Murzakanov by KO. He's been getting favorable matchups. I mean, Johnny Walker, he was going to KO Johnny Walker. But I think he has a better chance of beating Brenton Ribeiro because Brenton Ribeiro, he does hit hard, but Johnny Walker's the unorthodox where he can land the crazy shot out of position. Brenton Ribeiro is a guy who, while he does hit hard, he's super hittable. He has a negative striking differential. He showed that he does have some grappling, which is interesting, but yeah, Askmouz's undersized by a lot, but he always is, kind of, except for when he went against Alonzo Minifield. Brenton Ribeiro is a guy who gets hit so much, and he does not have the greatest of chins where Askmouz is going to unload those combinations. I think he's going to KO Brenton Ribeiro within the first 2 rounds and make it look easy, and then get another favorable matchup in his next fight. Moving on, we got Sangyoo versus Jekka. Yeah, I'm not picking Jekka. I'm picking Sangyoo. He might even go into the casual parlay because, I'm leaking shit. Casual parlay is going to drop a little later in the week because I'm waiting on a prop. A prop is going to be in it, not a straight up win. But Jekka, he's just a guy. He has big power in his hands and he lets him go, but that's pretty much it. He's not really a good striker. He's not really a good wrestler. He has big power, and if you let him land, it could get interesting, but I think Sangyoo is going to damn near outstrike him and wrestle him and look to get the fight to the ground. Jekka lost to Anshiel Jubilee. He lost to Weston Wilson. I mean, whoa. This is a guy who, while yes, he does have big power. KO Lucas Alexander, that's crazy. But ground and pound to Anshiel Jubilee? Triangle armbar from Weston Wilson? And I think Sangyoo is actually the truth. I think he's a really good fighter. And I think it's set up for him to continue. Now, he's undefeated. Undefeated prospects have been, but I'm trusting him here. High confidence here, no problem. One that's tricky to me. Sergey Spivac versus Waldo Cortes-Acosta. I'm actually going to pick Waldo Cortes-Acosta as the underdog here. Medium to low confidence, not the highest confidence. But the reason I'm picking this is because Waldo is very well-rounded and he's fast. And against these fast guys, Sergey kind of struggles. Now, Sergey could just come out there in the first round, close the distance, have no respect for Waldo because there's not a big KO threat. Have no respect, close the distance, grab him, put him on the ground, and just manhandle him, right? But I think Waldo, with his movement, it's going to be hard for Sergey to track him down, and Waldo's going to be sticking with the jab, smashing him with the low kick. I'm not saying this guy is on Ciryl Gane's level at all, but Ciryl Gane showed that if you can move and you can just stick and move, Sergey has nothing for you. And that's what I'm kind of banking on here. Waldo Cortes-Acosta to maybe get taken down in the first, but then kind of run away with it. I think he's going to be much faster. I think he's going to be more technical. He moves around a lot, and he can hold his own in the wrestling. It's not like he's just going to be taking down fish out of water. Fuck, the fight's over. I don't think it's going to be like that. So I'm going to pick Waldo Cortes-Acosta because he has more ways to win, and he's more well-rounded. And I want to say he's the better fighter. Waldo Cortes-Acosta. Moving on, we got Ariana Lipski versus Cong Wong. Or is it like Wong Tong? I think it's like Wong Tong. We just say Wong Kong. Kong Wong. Kong Wong. Fuck it. I'm picking Kong Wong. Wong Tong. I know that sounds like I'm trying to be rich. I'm picking the Joker. I'm picking the Joker to beat Ariana Lipski. I think this is going to be a fight on the stand-up, and Kong Wong is one of the best stand-up fighters in the world. Now she did. I ain't gonna lie, she got dropped. I forgot who it was. But it was a girl. It was on the Peter Yan, Davidson Figueiredo fight. Okay, and it was a girl where it was like, if Wong Kong loses, it's because she got taken down. Well, she did get submitted in a fight, but she got, like, dropped real bad on the feet, then submitted. I forgot who it was. I'm not going to click on one. I am going to click on it. It was Gabriela Fernandez. Dropped her bad, and then subbed her. But, yeah, I think Kong Wong's going to get this done. Big power whenever she lands. Fast, pretty technical, hard to hit. Even though I just said she got hurt real bad and she was disrespecting. She was disrespecting Gabriela. But she's hard to hit. And her striking differential looks so crazy because she's usually like one-punch knockouting girls. But she's landing like 3.5 strikes and getting hit with one, coming back. Ariana Lipski, you know? She's good in her own right. You know, she's a good test. She's not a world beater. She's not high level, I wouldn't say. And I think this fight's going to be on the feet. And on the feet, I'm not picking against Kong Wong. Unless she's fighting somebody really like that. Ariana Lipski's not really like that, if you get what I'm saying. Let's talk about somebody who is like that. Bruno Silva versus Joshua Van. Pick a Joshua Van all day. Huge favorite. Minus 530. The sports books have caught on. They're not going to give us anything good with Joshua Van. But listen. There is some things to worry about. Bruno Silva can wrestle, but Joshua Van has brick wall takedown defense, so I think he'll be fine. But Bruno Silva does have big power. And we've seen Joshua Van. It's not the greatest when it comes to taking damage. Now, he's a great hammer. Over 8 strikes landed per minute. I think that's the highest strikes landed per minute in the UFC. Not in flyweight, in the UFC. So, when it comes to boxing, I think he's going to be all over Bruno Silva. We just saw him get styled on by Manel Kape. And yeah, Joshua Van's not necessarily Manel Kape in the striking, but Joshua Van has great boxing and he's fast. It was really a speed difference with Bruno Silva. And then when Bruno Silva said, fuck, I'm going to bite down on my feet, so I'm going to find that KO shot, Manel Kape was just never there. Now, I think Manel Kape's actually faster than Joshua Van, but Joshua Van does have the speed and the volume. I think he could overwhelm Bruno Silva a bit. It's going to be a tough out for Bruno Silva. It's going to be like, damn. It might be one of the beatings where it's like, damn, how did Bruno Silva get ranked? Like one of those kind of beatings. And it's like, I kind of like Bruno Silva. I was rooting for Bruno Silva against Manel Kape because I'm a Manel Kape hater. But I think Joshua Van's going to be too much volume, too much output, too much of a brick wall when it comes to trying to take him down. I think Joshua Van's going to be too much. Moving on, we got Patchy Mix versus Mario Bautista. And we got to calm down with this glaze. Man, I saw somebody say, I think it was Artem MMA. Patchy Mix can beat Sean O'Malley. No, I'm picking Mario Bautista. Patchy Mix is very, very low output on the feet. He has good kicks. Pretty good kicks, I'm not going to lie. He can crack a bit, but he has pretty good kicks. He's not the fastest guy in the world, you know, and he's very low output, and he's not even that great of a wrestler. He's a really good grappler, obviously. I think he has like 15 submissions. He's really good BJJ, really good at jumping on your back or jumping for position, but as far as like wrestling, he's not the greatest, and I think Mario Bautista is the better wrestler. Also, while I said Patchy Mix is low output on the feet, Mario Bautista is not. Mario Bautista is very, very underrated, and he's getting hated on now because of his Jose Aldo performance, which is warranted. Continue to do that. But I think Mario Bautista is going to surprise a lot of people because people are mistaking what he did against Jose Aldo to make it seem like he's a bum and that's the only way he can win fights. Mario Bautista is very high output on the feet. His striking is getting better from fight to fight, and he's a good wrestler, right? Merab did that to Jose Aldo, and Merab has changed the narrative on himself, but I'm not saying Mario Bautista is Merab, but Mario Bautista does have really, really good cardio, high output on the feet, and a really good wrestler. I'm picking Mario Bautista, and I'm betting Mario Bautista. I think this is just all wrong, and I think Patchy Mix is getting too much love. I don't think Patchy Mix is a bum. I think Patchy Mix could be a quality ranked fighter in the bantamweight division, but when I look at Patchy Mix, it's not Peter Yan. I don't think he's beating a Sandhagen. I don't think he's beating, you know what I'm saying? Obviously, I don't think he's beating those guys. I don't think he's beating Mario Bautista. You know what I mean? So I'm picking Mario Bautista, and I'm betting Mario Bautista. Moving on, we got Vicente Luque versus Kevin Holland. I told you guys I'm never picking Kevin Holland to win another fight. And I'm standing by that. He's in the Zachary Reese camp. Shout out to Zachary Reese, got a dub. He's in the Zachary Reese type of area. You know, I'm not ever betting you to win a fight ever again. I'm not picking you to win a fight again. I'm picking Vicente Luque. Vicente Luque is a guy. I would say Vicente Luque is a guy that you count on, but after that Joaquin Buckley performance is like, whoa. Yikes. And I said he probably won't ever be the same fighter again after what he went through with Jeff Neal, but the way he came back and just ran through Timba Garimbo, it's like, okay, he's still here. He's still here. He's not I don't think he's ever going to be the same guy when it comes to like having a war, being able to take damage, and Kevin Holland is a slick striker. Don't get me wrong. I think Kevin Holland should win this fight. He is the favorite, and I'm not really surprised by that. Kevin Holland's big, he's long, he hits hard, he's slick, he's fast. But I think Vicente Luque is going to go in there, bite down on the mouthpiece, out-tough him a bit, take him down, and just outwork him. I think Vicente Luque has the higher fight IQ while still being well-rounded. He's not going to have the speed advantage. He's going to be small. I don't know how well he takes a shot. And the way I'm saying that, it seems like I'm fence-sitting and I'm saying Kevin Holland should win. But I'm not. But like, Kevin Holland finds ways to fumble fights. And his Gunnar Nelson performance did not impress me. Gunnar Nelson was having a dogfight with Kevin Holland. Gunnar Nelson was really putting it on Kevin Holland. Like they were going to war. I like Vicente Luque to come in here and beat Kevin Holland. I don't think Kevin Holland fights for checks, man. Just fights for checks. And like I said, I would never pick him again to win another fight. Kevin Gastelum versus Joe Pyfer. I'm going to pick Joe Pyfer. I picked Joe Pyfer in the first fight. I'm going to pick him in the second fight. And when I picked him in the first fight, I said, I think he's learned a big thing from his Jack Hermanson performance, where it's like, I don't think he's going to go out there. And he knows he's fighting a tough guy in Kevin Gastelum. I think he wants to KO Kevin Gastelum, but I don't think he's going to just bank on it and just go balls to the wall and gas himself out to not have anything left for 2 and 3. And then it is a 3-round fight. Jack Hermanson, he wasn't like completely out of it, you know, in that 5-round fight. This is a 3-round fight. So he can still, you know, go for it a bit. And, you know, as long as he wins early, you know, he can kind of drop the 3rd round. But I think he's going to literally outbox Kevin Gastelum because he's really good on the feet. He's fast. He doesn't just hit hard. He's just not a guy who hits hard. He's fast on the feet. He has decent kicks. He has nice combinations. It's not just one shot at a time. I think he's going to be catching Kevin Gastelum a lot. I think he's going to be catching Kevin Gastelum off guard with some of these shots. I think he's going to outclass Kevin Gastelum. It's just, do I think he KOs him or do I think Kevin Gastelum survives? I'm going to say Kevin Gastelum. I'm going to say Kevin Gastelum survives. I'm going to say Joe Pyfer KOs Kevin Gastelum in the 2nd round. You know, touching him up in the 1st round. Touching him up in the 1st round. 2nd round kind of really puts his foot on the gas after Kevin Gastelum's kind of wiltering a little bit, and he sees that Kevin Gastelum don't really got much for him. Picking Joe Pyfer by KO. Juliana Peña versus Kayla Harrison. I feel like everybody's in agreement. It's either Kayla Harrison dominates Juliana Peña or Kayla Harrison dominates Juliana Peña early and Juliana Peña bites down the mouthpiece, comes back and wins 3, 4, and 5. I'm going to predict for Juliana Peña to come back and win 3, 4, 5. Okay? That Kaylin Vieira fight, she was pretty tired in there. She's pretty tired in there. And Juliana Peña don't get tired. Well, she does get tired, but she doesn't allow it to stop her output. She doesn't allow it to stop at that. But she got dog in her, bro. She's a dog. She's a fucking dog. She's not technical with her 1-2. She closes her eyes on her punches. She looks like she's doggy paddling when she throws them sometimes. You know, she kind of just grabs a girl and tries to fall into takedowns, but it's effective. It's effective. It's effective, especially late in fights. I think Kayla Harrison, she's probably on the sauce. She's probably on the sauce, but I think Kayla Harrison, all that muscle, all that trying to strength and throw Juliana Peña around, I think she's going to be tired. And I think Juliana Peña is going to come back and win 3, 4, and 5. If not find a finish. I'm picking Juliana Peña. I am. And it's a bit off of the vibes, too. It's a little bit of the vibes. I don't know. But I think we're going to see Amanda Nunes and Juliana Peña 3. I think we are. I think Amanda Nunes going to come back and smash her ass again. But, you know, yeah. That's what I think is going to happen. Main event, real quick, I dropped a film study of the first fight between these two. And I labeled it, "This is how Sean O'Malley beats Merab Dvalishvili." I've been doing a lot of reflecting. I've been listening to people talk. I've been listening to Eric Nixick say, if Sean O'Malley comes out fast, we have a plan for that. He was patient in the first fight. Obviously, we know what happens whenever Sean O'Malley's patient. I'm listening to Tim Welch. Tim Welch is saying, yeah, we were looking for the KO a little bit too much. But in the very next breath, he's saying, I'm predicting Sean O'Malley to KO him. And that whole video is about me saying, basically, Sean O'Malley shouldn't load up on big shots. He should touch Merab, throw volume, try to match Merab's volume. It's hard to match Merab's volume. But if he kind of gets close to Merab's volume, his strikes landed will be more significant than Merab's. So a lot of Merab's strikes come from knees to the thighs and low kicks and shit like that, you know? So I think O'Malley has to come out here and get started. Don't be so patient. Don't be so patient like he was against Aljo. He can't be too patient. He has to come out here. He has to, especially against Merab, you got to take those first rounds. You know, because as 3, 4, and 5 come around, it's like, the chances of you winning those rounds are decreasing. So you got to come out and try to get 1 and 2. Got to come out. You got to work. You got to be okay with Merab's probably going to take me down. He's not going to finish me. He's not going to batter me. But you have to be okay with understanding Merab's probably going to take me down a couple times in this fight. It's all good. If I did the work that I need to do while we were on the feet, whatever he does on the ground probably won't take this round from me in the day of age at UFC that we live in. You know, it's just, like I said, when Merab is tripling your strikes thrown and getting 6 takedowns and controlling you, it's just a lot. But if Merab has a good amount of takedowns, but the striking is close, and then we look back on the striking, it's like, well, Sean O'Malley's tracking with 1-2s. Merab was landing low kicks. Or Sean O'Malley was fading the right hand, throwing the knee up the middle, and Merab was kind of just kneeing to the thigh. That, you know, it's a different day and age that we live in, and wrestling isn't the end of everything. With that being said, please go watch that fight. Please go watch that video. It's probably one of my most favorite videos that I've made on this channel. But I will be picking Sean O'Malley to beat Merab Dvalishvili. I think the KO chance is always there, but I'm doing something out of the norm. I'm picking Sean O'Malley by decision. I think that first fight was close, and Sean O'Malley had a dog shit performance and a bad game plan. He only threw 89 strikes in that fight. And some of you might say that's the threat of the takedown. Well, in a 3-round fight against Peter Yan took Sean O'Malley down 6 times, controlled him for 5 minutes and 44 seconds, meaning the fight was standing for a less amount of time than 2 rounds, and Sean O'Malley threw 160 strikes in that fight, and that was 3 rounds. So we've seen O'Malley is able to still throw good volume even though he's being taken down and make the minutes on the feet count. That's what Sean's going to have to do in this fight. And for that, I'm going to be picking Sean O'Malley. Sean O'Malley also hurt Merab a lot in that first fight. A right hand over the top in rounds 3 or 4. Stung Merab. He shook it off, but it stung Merab. We obviously know what happened with the teep kick. We obviously know that. O'Malley, at the end of the 3rd round, stepped through, feinted the knee up the middle, stepped through with the right hand, recessed through the knee up the middle, got Merab's attention. So we've seen that O'Malley can make moments on the feet count. He can't just load up on big shots every time. Body shots, kicks, defend the single legs like you were in the first fight. You can win this fight. I'm picking Sean O'Malley. Ladies and gentlemen, that's all I got for you. Like, comment, subscribe, share this to somebody. Let me know who you got. You ain't got to go home. I've seen a lot of people not giving Sean O'Malley a chance, so let me see what you got. You ain't got to go home and try to get up out of here, man. Yeah.